Up to the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you've never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Friday, January 27th, 2023. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you search Catch, Hook, and Shoot. You'll be able to find the show pretty much anywhere. Head to Linktree/CatchHookShoot and you will find links to everything regarding the show, our website, our social media, YouTube, all the podcasting platforms, the Pro Wrestling Tee store, and all that kind of fun stuff. And if you ever want to shoot us an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So tomorrow is the Royal Rumble, and that's pretty much what we're covering in this show, is everything going on in the Rumble, giving our previews, predictions. Charlie G's going to have his stuff in the Indie Cut, giving his view on what's going to go down tomorrow. But I want to hit on a couple of the more important things that went down this last week before I get into all the Rumble stuff. First of all, the Jay Briscoe tribute on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. For whatever reason, Warner Media backed off on their ban of the Briscoe brothers on TBS, and AEW was finally able to air a tribute for Jay Briscoe. They aired just an amazing tribute video, about Jay, and I can't really express it any better than that. It was just an amazing video. It literally brought tears to my eyes. And then the main event of AEW Dynamite was Mark Briscoe taking on Jay Lethal. Very emotional match. I mean, Jay Lethal was in tears walking to the ring even before the match started, and Mark won the match with the Jay Driller, of course. So and it was an awesome match. I mean, as far as a tribute to Jay Briscoe, it was amazing, and just strictly as a wrestling match, I mean, for anybody who's never seen Ring of Honor before, that is a perfect example of what Ring of Honor is. So if you're new to Ring of Honor, never checked them out before, if you like that match, check out Ring of Honor, because you'll get a lot more of the same. But just a really, really good tribute to Jay Briscoe on AEW Dynamite, and I cannot say enough good things about it. And also, continuing on that same subject, the Ring of Honor tribute show for Jay Briscoe is up on YouTube. It's about 3 hours long. I have not watched the entire thing yet. I didn't want to watch the whole thing right before I recorded this show, because I guarantee you I will be crying during that show. So I'm going to be checking it out. I caught the very beginning of it, and they're doing the tributes from individual wrestlers in between the matches. First one I saw was from Samoa Joe, and it you don't think of Samoa Joe as a guy who sheds a lot of tears, but it was so it's definitely something I'm going to be checking out the rest of that show. A little bit of WWE stuff before I get into the Rumble here. We talked last week about WWE being interested in bringing in some New Japan talent, specifically Jay White, as well as Hikuleo and Tama Tonga, and now there's some more rumors going around that they could potentially be bringing back the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, which I am all for that. I don't know why they released them in the first place. Authors of Pain, in my opinion, were a great tag team. Paul Ellering fit perfectly with them. I would assume they'd be bringing them back to the main roster, but you never know. They could go to NXT too. But yeah, so I'm hoping this rumor is true. I would love to see the Authors of Pain back in WWE. WWE also had their Raw 30th anniversary show this past week. A lot of cameos from legends. Hulk Hogan opened the show. DX had a big segment that led to a six-man tag team match between Imperium taking on Seth Rollins and Street Profits. You know, I mean, it was a good show. They had basically trial for Sami Zayn with Roman Reigns trying to decide if he's going to be continue to be part of the bloodline, which he was once Jimmy Uso kind of stood up for him a little bit, and Reigns basically said, "You do what you got to do tonight. Then I don't want to see you till the Rumble," which was. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. The Usos had a tag team title match against against the Judgment Day. One of the Usos went down. Sami Zayn stepped up, took his place, and the Usos retained the tag team titles. So, definitely that's going to play into whether or not Sami remains with the bloodline. I know a lot of people are waiting for Sami to turn on Roman Reigns at some point, and it's coming, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when they're, seeing how the setup process works out. There was supposed to be a cage match between Becky Lynch and Bayley, which I was really looking forward to because I thought these two, I mean, honestly, I was expecting them to steal the show with this match. And it basically got turned into a schmaz with Damage Control attacking Becky Lynch before the match, and the match never got started, so it just basically got scrapped. I'm assuming it was done because of a timing issue. The DX segment did run really long, so I'm thinking they had to cut time, and they just ended up cutting that whole match and just, turned it into the fiasco that it was. It's a little disappointing, but, that's TV. That's just how it goes. Had a really, really cool segment with LA Knight and The Undertaker, of all people. Undertaker coming out in his American Badass persona, coming down on the motorcycle, which was pretty cool. And then as LA Knight was kind of backing down, trying to walk away, Bray Wyatt shows up at the entrance, chases him back to the ring. Taker grabs him by the throat for a choke slam. Instead of choke slamming him, throws him to Bray Wyatt, who hits LA Knight with Sister Abigail. So it was just a very cool segment. And it was kind of a passing of the torch. That's how I interpreted it. Undertaker kind of passing, not his character, obviously, but his spot, I guess, not to sound like Arn Anderson, but, kind of passing the darkness, if you will, over to Bray Wyatt. And as Taker was leaving the ring, he stopped and said something to Wyatt, like whispered in his ear. No idea what it was. But it was a very, very cool segment. I loved it, obviously. But so it was awesome. So let's get into the Royal Rumble here. So there's only a few matches announced so far besides the actual Rumble matches. Now, I'm recording this Thursday night. It's going to be dropping Friday afternoon. So obviously Friday with SmackDown, most likely will get some more announcements as far as matches or participants in the Rumbles. So take that into consideration as I'm going through this here. But first and foremost, just talking about Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, they will face off in a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. I don't know what that is. I mean, obviously it's sponsored by Mountain Dew. A Pitch Black match, I just hope it's not anything goofy, because these two guys could put on a really good match. It doesn't need to be real gimmicky or anything like that. I'm hoping for a good match in this one. I'm picking Bray Wyatt to win. I mean, the thing about Bray Wyatt in his previous run in WWE, he had all these great rivalries with some really good matches with guys, and he always ended up losing when it came down to the match. So I'm hoping they're going to reverse that trend now. So I'm picking Bray Wyatt to win this one. Then we've got for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defending against Alexa Bliss. Now Alexa has been kind of going back to her persona of when she was with Bray Wyatt, getting kind of dark again. So I'm wondering if we're going to see the payoff of that in this match. Is Uncle Howdy going to make an appearance, or what's going to happen with this? But I don't. Picking a winner in this is hard. I want to say Alexa Bliss, but I also I mean, Bianca very well could retain the title, but I think this match is going to end up being all about Alexa Bliss having some kind of something. I don't know if you necessarily call it a turn, but I think something interesting is going to happen with Alexa Bliss in this match. But I think Bianca's going to retain the title. And then we've got for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens. This is where I think you're going to see Sami Zayn get involved, most likely. Roman is not losing these titles before WrestleMania. I don't see that happening. So I've got Roman retaining in this one. Maybe not necessarily winning. Maybe Sami gets him disqualified or something for him to retain the title. But I've got Roman retaining in this one. So before I get into the actual Rumble matches. Right now, I am going to throw this over to Charlie G, and he's got his predictions for the Royal Rumble coming up in the Indie Cut.
I don't know if you like podcasts or if you don't like podcasts, but damn it, the Indie Cut with Charlie G. If you don't like podcasts, you're about to like podcasts. Go watch the Indie Cut with Charlie G, damn it. It's the finest podcast amongst all podcasts.
Hey there, wrestling friends. I'm Charlie G with this week's quick and special Indie Cut. Thank you to Tom and to the best tag team in the universe, the Briscoe Brothers. I'm going to just go briefly through the happenings at Warrior Wrestling 27 and then make my Royal Rumble predictions. First off, we start with Vikingo winning the Warrior Lucha title, defeating Ray Horse and Flamita in a wild and crazy match. I'm sure if you have not seen the clips yet, go to their Twitter page. I'll just say Vikingo climbed a wall and then did a plancha off of it onto Ray and Flamita. Very cool spot. Happy that Vikingo won. I figured he would. He retained his AAA Mega Championship as well. Next up at Warrior Wrestling 28, he will be taking on Aramis, who is the first Lucha champion, and Black Taurus. So that should be another great, awesome match. Not sure why they're always three ways, but very cool to see. He was the main event. I'm guessing he will be the main event once again here in Chicago at Talia Hall. So check that out on February 18th. Next, I'll go with Casey Navarro retaining the Warrior title with the help of all the Frank the Clown goons, as you might say, defeating Buddy Matthews. They all got involved, including that Dastardly Clown. At the end of the match on Twitter, he declared he will be taking his newly pink-strapped Warrior title on what is called the Truly Blessed Warrior World Championship Tour, starting in Australia. No, it is not against Buddy Matthews, but it's going to be for Melbourne City Wrestling on February 11th on Fight TV. And earlier today, on Thursday, the Rapscallion accepted that challenge. So check that out if you can. Now, as for the others who missed the show, Sam Adonis, as I said, gave up the Lucha title. For good reason. He teamed with Daga, of all people, in AAA, taking on Pentagon Jr. and Psycho Clown. I guess if you weigh what's more important, Pentagon or Warrior Wrestling, I guess Pentagon won that one. Although Sam and Daga lost, I'm sure it was a great match. At the end of the match, big news, Negro Casas and Dalis came out. They apparently left CMLL and joined AAA. So that is big happenings in Mexico. As for the Warrior Women's Champion, Athena, she was in Pomona, California for Prestige Wrestling, and she defended her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, defeating Tokiyoshi Pro's Miyo Yamashita in an outstanding match. Check that out if you can. I did. Good hard-fighting match, back and forth. I actually thought Athena might lose at one point, but she pulled it out then. Very happy to see. She is not at the Warrior Wrestling 28. Sam is. No match announced yet, but yet again, another show without Athena at it. A little disappointing, but she might pop up. There's still probably some matches still to be announced. So we'll wait and see. That is actually the end of the indie news. Like I said, it's going to be quick and to the point. So I'm going to join in the Royal Rumble predictions. First off is the Pitch Black match with LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt. I don't think there will be a winner because it's a Bray Wyatt match like the Cena match he had at Mania. Bray will come out in some victorious way. I don't know how to put it, but he'll win. Put it like that. Next we have the Raw Women's title. Champion Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. I like Alexa to win, but I'm guessing Bianca will retain here. For the WWE title and Universal title, Champion Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Of course, I love KO to win, but Roman's probably going to win. I think it's time for him to lose, but how it's set up, I think Roman will retain, go to Canada, face Sami Zayn in some way. I don't know how that's going to all unfold. And then KO and Sami Zayn will go to Mania and take on the Usos for the tag titles. I don't know how that's going to plan out. I think that's how they're leading. It'd be fun to watch either way. But yeah, Roman's going to retain. Then we go to the Rumble matches themselves. First up would be the women's. Now, normally, as we said on our first show back, we pick numbers to make it, whoever hasn't watched wrestling in a while, just make it fun for them. They just get to pick a number or two and hope they win. Usually I get Doink or Hurricane or someone like that. I usually get the Legends or something like that. So let's see what my numbers hold this year. I randomized them this time. Make it really like a Royal Rumble. So the women's match, I have 19 and 24. But if I were to pick, I'm picking Rhea Ripley, and she would challenge Charlotte Flair for her title. I know she's on Raw, but it's titles. Who cares? Challenge for him. Go take Dom and be mommy on SmackDown for a while. But yeah, I picked Rhea there. For the men's Rumble, numbers 8 and 28. So I'm hoping Stone Cold and Cody Rhodes, because I got Cody to win. I know it's an old shirt if you're watching, but hey, whatever. I think Cody will win, go to Mania, and beat Roman there. And then who knows who's going to pop up on night 2. So that's my predictions there. As you can see on the screen if you're watching, there we go. Pick up the Jay Briscoe memorial shirt. All proceeds go to his family, which I think is great. Go to shophonor.com, shopaew.com, or Pro Wrestling Tees, and pick up your shirt. I know I will pretty soon. So like I said, that's a quick and special in the cut for me. So that's a wrap until next time, where I will recap probably the last 2 weeks of any shows. This week seems a little light, because they all know what Rumble's going on, so take a week off or so. So thank you for watching or listening. Once again, if anyone out there wants a certain result from a show, just email us. I'd be happy to spread the word. So take care, keep safe, be kind to everyone, and enjoy wrestling. Enjoy your wrestling. Peace.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So let's get into these Rumble matches that are going to be going on tomorrow night. Now, bear in mind, again, I'm recording this Thursday night, so it can drop Friday afternoon, and there is still a lot of open spots in both the men's and women's Royal Rumbles. Like, as of right now, as of the time I'm recording, there are only 16 participants that have been named for the men's Rumble and 8 for the women. So there's a lot of room left. And the thing is, with WWE, their rosters are so huge, they could easily fill out 30 spots. I mean, without any kind of problem. But, that begs the question, are there going to be any surprises this year? any legends coming back, any, the possibility of people from other companies. The precedent was set for that last year with Mickie James coming in with the freaking Impact Knockouts title. And she's the Knockouts champion again. Could we see Mickie James again this year, 2 years in a row? I think that'd be pretty cool. But we'll have to see. But so far, the names in the men's rumble are Kofi Kingston, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Austin Theory, Seth freaking Rollins, which I hate. He's called himself Seth freaking Rollins for years, but now it's officially part of his name, and I can't stand it. Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, Karrion Kross, and Dominic Mysterio. Like I said, will there be any surprises? Because they have more than enough people to fill out 30 spots. I'm hoping to see Edge in the Rumble. I don't see his name on here. Edge has already said publicly that he plans to retire in 2023. Retiring on his own terms this time, which I know was one of his big driving forces for coming back, is because he did not get to leave on his own terms, and this time he does. So, if that's the case, I would think more than likely we're going to see him in the Rumble. We're definitely going to see him at WrestleMania. It's going to be his last WrestleMania if he's retiring this year, so I'm sure that'll be a huge deal, as it should be. Like I said, what kind of surprises could we see? I personally think they should have left Cody as a surprise entrant, but they made the announcement a couple of weeks ago. It is what it is. I would have rather have been a surprise. The surprises are my favorite part of the Royal Rumble, but it is what it is. But just as far as some possibilities, Kofi Kingston's in it, so we definitely could see Xavier Woods in there. I'd like to see some NXT names, possibly Braun Breaker maybe making an appearance, or Wes Lee. I would love to see Wes Lee in the Rumble. That would be awesome. I would assume the Usos are going to be in there somewhere. And I'm just kind of scrolling through the roster really quick right now. The Street Profits, Hit Row. What else do we got here? Oh, Brock Lesnar, who just came back at Raw 30. I didn't mention that before. Jumped in, cost Bobby Lashley the United States Championship in his match against Austin Theory. So, I'm guessing we're probably going to see Brock somewhere during the Rumble. But Bronson Reed, who recently came back, maybe Butch could be in there somewhere. So many possibilities. Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Dexter Lumis, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Elias, the Viking Raiders, Finn Balor, Damian Priest. There's so many names that, have not even been mentioned. And like I said, I'm sure there'll be some more names mentioned on SmackDown tonight. Johnny Gargano, the Good Brothers. So there's a lot of room in there to put in people from Raw, SmackDown, NXT. And I would, I obviously this would be a perfect spot if you are going to debut somebody like a Jay White or a Hikuleo or a Tama Tonga or even the AOP. Who knows? So there's so much up in the air with the Rumble. But as far as a winner, personally, my pick is Cody Rhodes. I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win the Rumble and challenge for one or both of the titles one of the nights of WrestleMania. I'm still not sure how they're going to work this. Is Roman defending both titles at WrestleMania? Is he defending them both in one match? Is he going to have one match each night? Because there's been talk about WWE wanting to separate the titles again. Or are they going to remain unified? Are the tag titles going to remain unified? Or are Roman and the Usos possibly going to have a match each night, for each individual title? So still a lot up in the air with that. But my pick right now for the Men's Royal Rumble, definitely have to go with Cody Rhodes. He's got all the momentum coming back. And, honestly, if he doesn't win, I think it would be kind of a letdown just across the board. So I think, in a way, I think WWE kind of painted themselves into a corner. You know, I think Cody has to win this thing. And there's so much talk about The Rock coming back and winning the Rumble. If The Rock is going to come back for a match with Roman at WrestleMania, I don't see the Rumble as the way to do it. The Rock doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. The Rock can step back into WWE anytime he wants and challenge anybody he wants for any title he wants, you know? I mean, he's The Rock. So I think using the Rumble to bring him back like that would be kind of, I don't know. I think it would be anticlimactic to bring him back in the Rumble. So I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win the men's Rumble. Now, the women's Rumble, like I said, there's even fewer names that have been announced for this one. So far, we've got Liv Morgan, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma. So there's a whole lot of space for the women's Rumble. Like I said, could we see Mickie James again? She did just win back the Knockouts Championship from Jordynne Grace. So, and, you know, last year was unprecedented. They had a champion from another company in the Royal Rumble and acknowledged them as such, which I think that's the most surprising part. It's not surprising that they would bring Mickie James back. I mean, she's one of the greatest female WWE superstars of all time. So, you know, not a surprise bringing her back in and of itself, but the fact that she was the Impact champion at the time and they acknowledged her as such, and she brought the belt to the ring, you know, that was huge. So, you know, you never know. At this point, you can literally say anything and anyone can show up during the Royal Rumble. But yeah, so you figure you still got Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley. None of them declared for the Rumble yet. Could we see, you know, possibly some of the NXT women show up? I think Roxanne Perez showing up would be very cool. Kacy Catanzaro's been in a women's Rumble before. Her and Kayden Carter, the current NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So either or both of them could show up. Then you've got The Rock's daughter, Ava Raine. Now she just started with NXT very, very recently, so I don't think they're going to throw her in the Rumble quite yet, but you never know. I mean, you know, it's The Rock's daughter. Like, throw her in the deep end. Here you go Rumble. So who knows? Then you've got B-Fab from Hit Row. Like I mentioned, Bayley. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. You know, maybe if Edge is going to come back in the men's Rumble, what about Beth Phoenix in the women's Rumble? That'd be kind of cool. Again, I'm scrolling through the roster here. You've got Carmella. Who else? Dana Brooke. Doudrop. Now Karrion Kross is in the men's Rumble. Could this be where we finally see Scarlett actually mixing it up in the ring? I mean, you never know. She is a wrestler. You know, they use her primarily in a managerial role in WWE, but Scarlett is a wrestler, so it wouldn't be out of the question for her to be in the Rumble. What else have we got here? How about Valhalla from the Viking Raiders, formerly Sarah Logan? Could she be in it? What about Gigi Dolan or JCJ from NXT? Indy Hartwell, another one. I'd say she's probably ready for the main roster. It'd be a good way to debut her. Let's see, that might be all of my guesses so far. I don't think we're going to see Maurice. Mia Yim, I'd say she's probably a lock to be in the women's Rumble. Naomi, could this be where Naomi makes her comeback to the WWE? I mean, Sasha Banks is done with WWE. She has already moved on. Naomi is still on the roster page on the WWE website. So, you know, Royal Rumble's always a great place for comebacks. So maybe we see Naomi, maybe we see Nikita Lyons from NXT, hugely popular. So they, throw her in there. Natalia, Nikki Cross. I mean, there are so many possibilities. It's ridiculous. So I'm definitely going to be curious to see who fills out those other 22 spots, and do we see, like I said, do we see any legends come back? Do we see anybody from other companies? Personally, I'd love to see Jordan Grace show up in the Royal Rumble, just because I've said it before. Jordan Grace is probably one of my absolute favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers. Period. I'm not even going to say women wrestlers. One of my favorite wrestlers, Jordan Grace. So, she's always one I'm going to say I'd love to see her pop up, but. Yeah, so there's a lot up in the air with the women's rumble, even more so than the men's. So trying to pick a winner in this one is hard. Like I said, you've got Bianca and Alexa going for the Raw Women's Championship, and that's the only women's match on the show at this point. There's no match for the SmackDown Women's title, so. I'm sure we're going to see another one that I'm pretty sure is going to show up in there, Sonya Deville. So picking a winner in this one's hard. I if Alexa was in it, I would say Alexa Bliss, but the field is too wide open, so it's more or less like, God, flip a coin, close your eyes and point. I mean, it could be literally anybody this time. I mean, I would suppose the favorite would probably be Ronda Rousey, even though she's not officially announced as being in it. But maybe Shayna Baszler, maybe Sonya Deville. That would be an interesting choice. But you know what? Just because I know she has become one of the top stars in the women's division, I think I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. Because she was she did capture the, I believe it was a SmackDown Women's Championship last year for a while. Surprised Ronda Rousey. So it seems like Liv has worked her way into that main event level in the women's division. So I think I'm gonna go. With Liv Morgan for the women's rumble. So those are gonna be my picks: Liv Morgan and Cody Rhodes. Those are my picks for your Royal Rumble winners to go on to WrestleMania and challenge for a championship match. So let me run down that card one more time. I've got Bianca Belair retaining the Raw Women's Championship in some form or fashion. Don't know if she's necessarily going to win the match, but she's going to retain, and something interesting is going to happen with Alexa. I think we're finally going to see some kind of payoff with all this Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt stuff going on with Alexa. I've got Roman Reigns retaining against Kevin Owens. Again, not necessarily a win. Now, I'm not saying both of these matches are going to end in DQs or something weird. I'm saying it's the most likely scenario for both, but I don't think it's going to happen with both. One of them's going to have, a clear-cut winner and loser, and I'm if one of these two matches does not end in some type of disqualification or controversy or something, I will be very surprised. But I've got Roman retaining. Like I said, I don't see him losing either one of those belts until WrestleMania at the very earliest. But hey, that's just my opinion. And then I've got Bray Wyatt defeating LA Knight in the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Please don't let that be some kind of goofy gimmick like that WrestleMania fiasco with Randy Orton with the bugs projected on the ring. No, just let it be something cool. That's all I want. Just something cool. And then for the men's rumble, I've got Cody Rhodes winning that one. I've got Liv Morgan winning the women's rumble. So that's going to wrap things up for this week. Quick, simple, to the point Royal Rumble prediction show. Like I said, we're trying to not really scale things back, but we're trying to keep the shows a little bit more focused, because it was definitely getting out of hand trying to cover every single thing that happened with every wrestling company every week. And I think you guys could tell that from the, before we took our little break there. So we're trying to not do hour-and-a-half shows anymore, is the goal. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying us being back. We definitely appreciate everybody who's been watching and listening so far, and any new viewers or listeners that we have out there, we appreciate you. We hope you come back every week. Like I said, make sure you check us out wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Just look up Catch, Hook, and Shoot and you'll find the show, or head to our Linktree, which is Linktree/Catch, Hook, Shoot, and you'll find our website, which has, you can get the podcasts on there, you can get the YouTube videos on there, everything. It's kind of a one-stop shop is the website. All of our social medias, YouTube, that's not social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of fun stuff. You can find the link to our YouTube channel on the Linktree. You can find all the podcast platforms, our Pro Wrestling Tee store, everything having to do with the show. It's Linktree/Catch, Hook, Shoot. And if you ever have any questions, comments, suggestions, you want to tell us we suck, you want to tell us you love us, whatever, send it to catchhookshoot@gmail.com. And again, thank you to everybody for listening. We appreciate you guys. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy the Royal Rumble, and we will talk to you guys soon.